Hey guys, Tim here with Apache Solutions. Today we're going to talk a little bit about simple stoppages. One of our viewers, Haley and John Laughlin, sent a message to us a while back asking for a full speed video on us reacting to a simple stoppage. He just wanted to see us do something fast, and I thought about it for a little while, and I figured this could be an educational video. So we thought we'd talk about a simple stoppage, what it is, and why we react to it the way that we do. Now, the simple stoppage, let's first talk about what that actually is. A simple stoppage is something that's going to take 2 or less movements in order to get the gun back into a fight. So you've been running the gun, bang, 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 and you hear a click. That click is a cue. That click cues you to tap the magazine, rack the slide, and get it back into the fight. Now, we try to use the most efficient way possible to get that gun back into the fight. So there's a process that we go about doing that, and a lot of people would argue the just skipping over the tapping the magazine, and we'll explain why we do that here in a little bit as well. All right, so let's talk a little bit about why we tap the magazine to make sure that it's seated to correct this simple stoppage issue. Now I've got my Glock here with a slide off of it, so I can point it in whatever direction I want without flagging you or flagging my cameraman or anything along those lines. The reason why we want to tap this magazine, is it slower? Yes, it might be slower. However, if I am tangled up in a fight with somebody and for some reason my gun went off, maybe he had a hold of the top of my slide and it created that stoppage, right? Then I may have hit the magazine release by accident during the tangle up. He may have hit it, and that magazine could simply be stuck here where it's not seated, right? So there it's seated, there it's not completely seated. So if I'm tangled up and for some reason my gun cycles and it doesn't cycle a round into the chamber, I want to make sure that I tap my magazine, then rack the slide. Otherwise, what I'm going to run into is this continuous of rack, 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 bang, and nothing's going to happen because the magazine is simply not seated. Or the magazine is going to fall out where I'm going to have to go and reload if I'm lucky enough to have a spare magazine on me. Otherwise, I'm going to be fighting around on the ground trying to find my magazine. So we believe in trying to make sure that we never trade that known for an unknown. I know my gun is not working properly. I want to make sure that I get it back into the fight, and I'm going to make sure that the magazine is seated first before I turn the gun inboard and rack the slide. So the next thing I'll talk about is inboard manipulation. The reason why we use inboard manipulation is quite simply because it is more efficient than bringing the gun back in here, coming up over the top or something along those lines. There's a lot of people that argue that too. That's perfectly fine. You want to do it your way, that's perfectly fine. We're going to do it our way. Inboard manipulation allows us to turn the gun this way into our support hand versus bringing our hand up over the top and repositioning myself, bringing the gun back offline. This way, where I'm able to tap the magazine here, rack the slide here, I'm able to keep my gun in between me and the threat, right? So I should be able to perform this inside of an 8-inch circle, essentially. Right, so we're going to show you this in slow motion, basically walking you through the steps, and you can practice this at home with your dummy rounds and dry fire because ammo is kind of expensive right now, right? And then you can test it out on the range. Now a standard, because we're so big on standards, something that we try to hold people to is the Handgun Combatives standard, as a matter of fact, of 2 seconds, being able to complete this drill in 2 seconds from 7 yards on a thoracic cavity target. So you should be able to correct the stoppage, tap, rack, and then get one good round on target inside this thoracic cavity in 2 seconds or less. So there again, a simple stoppage is a stoppage that takes 2 or less movements in order to get the gun back into operation. All right guys, so I got my trusty sidekick here, Jill Trey. He's going to be demonstrating how to do this by the numbers. I'm just going to walk you through it step by step to show you what we do to react to this simple stoppage. So go ahead, we're going to use some dummy rounds. Clear gun, great. Dummy rounds, awesome. Go ahead and make it ready. Fantastic, out on target. All right, so right now, Joel Trey's firing, so his finger's on the trigger, right? And he's firing, he's firing, he's firing. All of a sudden, he's going to feel a click. Click. That click is his cue to react to this simple stoppage. He knows gun is not running, get it back into the fight as quickly and as efficiently as he possibly can. So the first thing he's going to do is he's going to remove his support hand. All he's doing is separating it from his grip, and that's it. Once he does that, he's going to roll the butt of the gun into the palm of his hand, seating the magazine. After that, he's going to turn the gun inboard, pinching the slide like it's $1 million check, and he's going to rack the slide. Clear the stoppage, get his left hand back on the gun, back on target, and attempt to fire. Now, the one thing I may have left out, which is very important, is that he removed his finger from the trigger once he realized the gun was not working. So he knew when he separated his support hand, that finger has to come straight and off of the trigger, because you don't want to run into that chance of, you know, racking the slide and then bang, gun going off, right? So make sure you build a habit of gun goes click, that finger comes straight and off as soon as the support hand comes off of the gun. All right, so we're going to do this one more time by the numbers. So Joel Trey's on target and on the trigger. He's firing, he's firing, he's firing. Click. He's going to remove his support hand and finger straighten off the trigger, roll the butt of the gun into the palm of his hand, tap the magazine, roll the gun inboard, pinch the slide like $1 million check, rack it, then get back into the fight. Bang. Fantastic. So let's see what this looks like in live fire. All right, guys, so we're just going to run this full speed really quick. What we've got set up is a 6x9 rectangle down there that represents the thoracic cavity. And Joel Trey standing here at 7 yards, and he's going to demonstrate how to perform this exercise in 2 seconds or less. All right, man. You understand the course of fire?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead. So what he's doing is inserting a magazine that's staged. He has one dummy, one live, one dummy, one live, one dummy, one live. All right. So once again, just like before, on target, on trigger. You're firing, you're firing, you're firing. That was a good hit. 196. 196. All right. We'll set it back up again. Same thing. You're firing, you're firing, you're firing. Good hit. 185. One more time. You're firing, you're firing, you're firing. Good hits. 201. 201. Just a little bit off.
Yeah.
All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to stage a magazine for Joel Trey. So all I'm going to do is I have 4 rounds here, so he's going to try to do this. He's going to attempt to fire a total of 6 times. And during that course of fire, he's going to have 2 stoppages. And the reason why I'm doing this is I want to challenge that level of automaticity, that skill on demand that he has. And I want to make sure that he's not doing this just because I'm saying I have it staged like you're firing, you're firing, you're firing, click. I want him to feel the click and use that cue as his time frame to get started and start beginning the reaction to that simple stoppage. So all I'm going to do is basically surprise load some. Now all we're doing is I'm going to add a draw from the holster. I'm going to time the entire thing. And if you've got one of these fancy timers, you'll be able to go through and check out the splits and see just how long it took him to get that gun back up into the fight. So again, he's going to do this twice, so we're going to have two different measurements here. So you're going to draw from the holster, attempt to fire 6 times. If you get to that click, make sure you go through the process of tap, rack, bang. Okay?
Yep.
All right. You understand the course of fire?
Yes, sir.
Here we go. Stand by. right. Total time was 6:97. His first split for the reaction to the simple stoppage was actually 2:31, so a little over the requirement. And then his last one was 2:27. That was his last reaction. So again, a little over. But overall, made some good hits. Good job.
Thanks, man.
All right. All right, guys. So that concludes the video on simple stoppages. Now I know that some of you might be wondering, like, well, I thought you said he has to get this done in 2 seconds or less. Well, keep that in mind. That is the split between his first shot, or from one shot to the next. All right, so during that time, he had to attempt to fire and then get back into that reaction to the simple stoppage. So 2 1/4 is still moving pretty quick. The one thing I really want to make sure I hit on is the fact that the gun is still in between you and the bad guy when you're performing this. You're not doing this stair step thing where you're bringing it down into here as you're working the gun. You're keeping it out here on target. You're minimizing that amount of time to get yourself back onto target, right? So once you get out there, you can regain your two-handed grip and then get back into the fight as quickly as you possibly can. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe, and share the videos on all of your social media and that sort of thing. And let us know what you would like for us to do for the next video. Thanks for watching. We look forward to seeing you out here.